The old world dims, and with a flare of radiant gold, a new company steps through the veil. Their forms resolve one by one, 5 silhouettes against a rising dawn, each marked by destiny, and perhaps questionable life choices. Sir Render Half-Orc Paladin, Oath of Devotion. Exiled Noble reborn through the Radiant Path, HP 13, AC 18, Speed 30 feet. Level 1. Stats, STR 20 is 5, Dex 13 1, Con 17, Int 12 1, Whiz 13, plus 1, Che 15, 2, Weapon. Thunder, plus 1 Warhammer, hums with Divine Thunder. Armor, Chainmail and Shield. Mount, Hoof-Hearted, Warhorse. Features, Divine Sense, Lay on Hands 5, Fighting Style, Defense, Divine Smite, Relentless Endurance. Personality, noble, squeaky voiced paragon who quotes poetry at his horse. Open quote, in faith and polish we reflect the light. Close quote. Tashtat, Barrett Tone Wood Elf Ranger, reluctant bard, ex-performer turned monster hunter, HP 11, AC 14, speed 35 feet, level 1. Stats, STR 10 plus 0, Dex 17 plus 3, Con 12, Int 11, Whiz 13 plus 15 plus 2. Weapon, String Theory, longbow that hums jazz chords. Traits, favored foe, deft explorer, dark vision, fey ancestry, keen senses. Feature, crit chord. When Barrett crits, allies gain +1 to their next roll. Personality, quick-witted, melodic ranger who treats battle like performance. Open quote. If they won't clap, they'll retreat. Close quote. Al dente human wizard, arcane kitchen transmutation. Expelled chef seeking the taste of eternity. HP 7, AC 13 plus 1 apron of protection. Speed 30 feet, level 1. Stats, STR 12 1, Dex 13 plus 1, Con 13, Int 18 plus 4, Whiz 12 1, Che 12 1. Focus, Staff of Rolling Boil, Heat Metal 1 day, Simmer. Features, Arcane Recovery 1 day, Fireproof Spellbook, Cooks Utensils. Spells, Mage Hand, Prestidigitation, Firebolt, Grease, Shield, Detect Magic, Scorching Ray. Personality, overconfident culinary prodigy who treats magic like fine dining. Open quote, magic is just cooking with more explosions. Close quote. Shaq Cleric Lee speaking Mountain Dwarf Cleric, Peace Domain with splash damage, HP 11 AC, 18 speed, 25 feet, level 1. Stats, STR 14 plus 2, Dex 10 plus 0, Con 16 plus 3, Int 10, Whiz 17 plus 3, Che 12 plus 1. Weapon, the Mass Hysteric Sensor. Symbol, Anvil of the Stone Choir. Features, Channel Divinity, Emboldening Bond, Dwarven Resilience. Faith has splash damage, heal roll of 4, 1d4 radiant to foes. Spells, Guidance, Sacred Flame, Spare the Dying, Cure Wounds, Bless, Shield of Faith, Healing Word. Personality, gruff healer with divine explosions in his toolkit. Open quote, this might sting a bit. Close quote. Rogue One Kenobi Lightfoot, Halfling Rogue Arcane Trickster, wanted by his former wizard mentor. HP 9, AC 15, speed 25 feet, level 1. Stats, STR 10, Dex 18 plus 4, Con 12 plus 1, Int 13, Whiz 11, Che 14, 2. Weapon, Sneak Lightsaber, plus 1 short sword that hums F-shot. Gear, Leather Armor, Cloak of Plausible Deniability, 2 Deception. Features, Sneak Attack, 1d6, Cunning Action, Lucky, Brave, Naturally Stealthy. Personality, Mischievous Trickster blending petty theft and cosmic flair. Open quote, trust in the forge and my exit strategy. Close quote. World integration. They now exist fully within the Verdant Frontier campaign setting, a frontier of tangled ruins, dawn cults, and forgotten recipes for divinity. Each character has been bound to local lore hooks. Sir Render's Radiant Path Order once protected these lands. Barrett's mentor disappeared near the ruins of Cordspire. Al dente's lost recipe may connect to ancient ley fires beneath the frontier. Cleric Lee's monastery funded the Stone Choir outpost, now overrun. Rogue One carries a forged arcane seal that hums when near forbidden relics. All 5 stand together at dawn beside a cracked milestone inscribed to Verdant Frontier, 8 leagues. The wind smells faintly of ozone and rosemary. Would you like me to 1. Begin session 1, introduce the opening scene? 2. Show shared inventory and gold? 3. Adjust tone difficulty, heroic, balanced, or comedic? The mists part like a curtain on an old stage. Morning breaks over the verdant frontier, painting the hills in bands of gold and mossy green. The world is half wild here. Ruins swallowed by vines, road signs worn to ghosts of words. The air hums faintly, as if the land itself were holding a note. At the roadside milestone, 5 heroes gather. Sir Render, astride his loyal steed Hoofhearted, helm polished to a mirror sheen despite the mud. Barrett Tone, tuning the string of his longbow with the ear of a musician checking for harmony in the wind. Al Dente, adjusting his apron and sniffing the air as though searching for the faintest whiff of destiny or garlic. Cleric Lee, speaking, steadying his mace sensor, which gives off a whiff of incense and gunpowder. Rogue One Kenobi, already 3 paces off the road, muttering to himself, "If I were trouble, where would I hide?" The milestone reads, open quote, "Verdant frontier, 8 leagues. Beware the singing stones." Close quote. A low hum rolls across the valley, at first like wind over grass, then like a choir of voices echoing beneath the earth. The light flickers, and even Surrender's hammer seems to hum in reply. Barrett squints toward the distant ridge. That doesn't sound like applause. What will the order do? 1. Investigate the sound. Climb the ridge toward the singing stones. 2. Head to Verdant Frontier Village. Gather rumors and supplies first. 3. Stay and study the hum. Al Dente or Cleric Lee could test for magic or divine resonance. 4. Custom action. What does your band of radiant misfits do? Excellent choice. Nothing like a good climb toward mysterious humming rock. Perfect. The dice belong in your hands, then. The ridge looms above, a jagged crown of green stone and wind-carved pillars. The sound grows clearer, a droning harmony that thrums in the bones. Marching order check. Surrender leads, Hoofhearted picking a careful path up the shale. Barrett follows, eyes scanning for movement. Al Dente mutters arcane recipes under his breath. Simmer, don't boil. Cleric Lee brings up the middle with his sensor swinging. Rogue One vanishes into the brush, just in case the ridge climbs back. This climb is no easy stroll. The slope is slick from last night's rain, the rocks shifting underfoot. Everyone, roll an athletics check to ascend safely. If anyone wants to assist another, declare it before rolling. Advantage applies. DC 12 to reach the top unscathed. DC 8 to 11, you make it but with some strain or mishap. 7 or lower, you slip, slide, or trigger something. Cinematic. Tell me your individual roles when ready, and if anyone uses special abilities, spells, or equipment to aid the climb. Excellent! Let's see how fate plays its hand, or perhaps how it slips on wet moss. Surrender 19. With divine poise and a suspiciously dramatic cape flutter, Surrender leads the way. Each step lands solidly. Even Hoof-Hearted's hooves find miraculous footing. The paladin radiates the kind of confidence that makes the mountain consider becoming a little less steep. Barrett. The ranger's foot catches on a slick stone. He manages to grab a root, but not before his string theory bow lets out a twang of complaint, echoing up the ridge like a sour note. Somewhere above, a few pebbles tumble loose, ominously. Al dente, the wizard mutters, a pinch of balance, a dash of grace, and nearly faceplants. His apron of protection spares him bruises, but not dignity. You're climbing more by faith than form, and a smear of clay now adorns your sleeve. Clerically speaking. Sturdy as a sermon, the dwarf plants his boots with deliberate care. His censer clanks rhythmically. Chonk, chonk, hallelujah, and you suspect the rhythm helps steady everyone's pace. Rogue One Kenobi 17. Rogue One appears halfway up the ridge without anyone noticing he'd even started. I took the shortcut, he shrugs, brushing off dust that may or may not be from a recent explosion trap he disarmed. You crest the ridge, wind tugging at cloaks, and behold the singing stones. A ring of emerald monoliths hums in harmony, faint runes glowing with inner light. In the center, a shallow pit, half filled with rainwater that vibrates like a drumskin. The hum matches your heartbeat. Barrett's earlier slip seems to have loosened a slab. One of the stones now leans slightly inward, warping the tone. A presence stirs beneath. If you'd like to investigate, roll Arcana for Al Dente or Kenobi, Religion for Surrender or Cleric Lee, or Perception for Barrett, DC 13 to sense what's causing the hum. You may each roll or nominate one hero to lead with advantage if others assist. Who steps forward first? Beautifully stirred, not shaken. Al dente's Arcana check, 17, success. The wizard kneels beside the rain-filled pit, staff steaming faintly where it touches the vibrating water. His pupils dilate as arcane lines bloom across his vision, thin silver threads connecting each of the singing stones like the strands of a celestial harp. Open quote, "Oh ho, this isn't natural resonance," he murmurs, grinning. "It's cooked magic. Someone set this circle to simmer." Close quote. You recognize the pattern. Ley energy, focused through mineral veins rich in songstone, a rare crystal that channels both sound and spellcraft. But there's a flaw. The fallen slab from Barrett's stumble has distorted the harmony. Instead of releasing energy upward, the ritual is now bleeding power downward, into something beneath the ridge. And whatever it is, hums back. The ground trembles. The water in the pit ripples outward in concentric rings, then inverts, sinking as though the earth were inhaling. Barrett gulps. So, we're not supposed to tune it, right? A deep tone resonates from below. Boom! Low and sonorous, like a buried temple bell. Dust sifts from the stones. You have seconds to react. Choices. 1. Stabilize the circle. Al dente and Cleric Lee can attempt to repair the harmonic flow, Arcanus Religion. 2. Ready for combat. Surrender and Barrett prepare to strike whatever's rising from the pit. 3. Retreat and observe, Rogue One suggests. Maybe we let the music finish itself. From over there. 4. Custom action. Your party may try something creative. Holy chants, dispel, destruction, improvisation. What does the... Excellent. The order chooses harmony over haste. Al dente grips his staff of rolling boil, steam swirling around him as he mutters, open quote, 1 part stabilization, 2 parts not dying. Close quote. Cleric leaking plants the mass hysteric firmly in the soil beside him. Radiant energy seeps from the cracks, golden light meeting al dente's ember red aura as the two attempt to rebalance the symphony of stone. Joint skill challenge. Each of them must contribute. Al dente, Arcana check to retune the magical vibration. Cleric Lee, religion check to channel divine resonance through the symbols. They may assist one another. If both succeed, DC 13 each, the circle stabilizes. If only one succeeds, it quiets, but something beneath may still stir. If both fail, expect the mountain to sing back louder. Would you like to roll for both, or shall I handle the dice for one of them? Double success! The ridge erupts in a shimmer of light. Not an explosion, but a resonant chord that hums through your bones. Al dente braces the staff against the ground, chanting a culinary incantation that sounds halfway between a recipe and a requiem. Open quote. By flame and flow, thicken not, break not, reduce. Scarlet sigils bloom around the circle, heat rising like the breath of a forge. The ley lines stutter, then smooth. Cleric Lee speaking bellows a hymn in counterpoint, voice deep and steady. Open quote, stone and song, bind as one, faith has splash damage. Close quote. The final word rings like a gong. Radiant ripples push outward through the stones, fusing cracks, lifting the fallen slab back into perfect tune. The humming stops, the water stills, the pit glows faintly, no longer a wound in the world, but a sealed scar. For a heartbeat, all is silent, then a soft, grateful chime. The air fills with floating motes of green light, drifting like lazy fireflies. Each carries faint whispers. Not words, but thanks. Effect. The singing stones are now attuned to peace. The party gains one inspiration die, usable by any member once before the next long rest. Cleric Lee's holy symbol now faintly resonates with the same tone. It may serve as a key to deeper mysteries later. As the motes fade, Barrett exhales. Well, I'd call that a solid encore. Rogue One adds, yeah, and no one exploded. We're ahead of schedule. A faint path of light now extends from the stone circle, leading west toward the verdant frontier village, shimmering with ley residue. Next step. 1. Fun, follow the glowing path toward the village. 2. Investigate the now quiet pit, possible hidden relic or message. 3. Take a short rest to recover and study what just happened. 4. Or something entirely custom. What does your Radiant crew do next? You choose curiosity over comfort, and the ridge answers in whispers. Surrender kneels at the pit's edge, peering down into the mirror-smooth water. It no longer vibrates, but faint ripples move against the breeze. Deliberate, intelligent. Al dente lowers his staff, murmuring, residual mana, a sauce reduced to perfection. Cleric Lee grunts. Careful, sometimes the leftovers bite. Everyone who peers in can make a perception or investigation check, DC 12. If you wish, you can name who's leading the check. Others may assist for advantage. If successful, you'll spot what the stones were guarding. If failed, something spots you first. Who takes the lead on this one? Surrender with divine vigilance, Rogue One with rogue's intuition, or Al dente with arcane curiosity? Excellent choice. Barrett's keen elven eyes and performer's instincts meet where stagecraft and survival entwine. The ranger crouches low, steadying himself on a moss-slick stone. The faint hum of the singing stones echoes in his chest as he peers into the glassy pit. He hums under his breath, a soft minor chord, part focus, part comfort. Go ahead and roll a perception check for Barrett. DC 12 to spot what's hidden beneath. A 15 plus will reveal something extraordinary. What does the die decree? Good catch. Let's calculate that properly. You've got Barrett Tone, Wood Elf Ranger, Wisdom, 13 plus 1 modifier, proficiency. Yes, Perception is a core elven skill, plus 2 proficiency bonus at level 1. Total, plus 3. So your roll of 9 plus 3 was 12, just hits the DC. Barrett leans in. The pit's surface trembles once, then clears like frost melting on glass. Beneath the shallow water lies a stone disc, carved with concentric rings of runes, faintly glowing in a green-gold pulse. The design looks familiar to both faith and art, part holy seal, part musical score. Al Dente kneels beside him. That's not decoration, he murmurs. That's notation. Someone encoded a spell as music. A faint melody hums from the stone, 6 notes repeating. AetherDmGPT. Cleric Lee's eyes widen. Those notes, they're part of the hymn of radiant binding. Surrender's voice softens, almost reverent. An old order's prayer was the one my faith lost centuries ago. If you touch the disc, it may awaken, or open a sealed message, but doing so might disturb whatever it's meant to contain. Your choices. 1. Touch the stone. Activate or read the rune song. 2. Record and retreat. Copy the melody. Study it later, in safety. 3. Let the cleric or paladin examine first. A faith-based approach. 4. Custom plan. How does your ensemble of radiant misfits proceed? The group tightens formation around the pit. Light filters through drifting mist as Surrender and Cleric Lee Panerley, speaking step forward, their reflections shining beside the carved disc. Surrender. He dismounts, places a gauntleted hand on his heart, and lets the other hover over the water. Radiant path. Reveal what's true and hide what must be kept. The air warms around his palm. Divine sense unfurls like ripples of sunlight. Hat Cleric Lee. He lowers the mass hysteric so the censer's smoke spirals down into the pit. A low hymn thrums through the ridge. Faint golden runes shimmer up from the stone, answering in time with the beat of his heart. Divine sense, religiac. Wabius 3. Go ahead and roll for Cleric Lee to interpret the reaction. DC 11 to 14. You learn the disc's sacred purpose. 15 plus. You glimpse the source of the binding as well. If you'd like, Surrender can assist for advantage by lending his aura of devotion. What does Lee's die show us, hero? Ah, the dice have spoken, and apparently in tongues your cleric hasn't practiced since seminary. Cleric Lee squints, brow furrowing. Either this is an ancient blessing of the radiant path or a recipe for radiant fondue. He prods the edge of the pit with bone. The mass hysteric. The stone hums disapprovingly. A faint fift escapes the censer. A spark of light flickers up, then fades. The runes blur, the water clouds, and whatever message the circle held retreats deeper beneath the surface. Surrender steadies him, grimacing kindly. Even the brightest flame sputters once, brother. Lee grumbles. Yeah. Well, some of us worship through our mistakes. Outcome. The divine resonance eludes you, for now. The disc remains dormant but stable. It neither attacks nor opens. You sense that a stronger choral invocation, faith and song combined, that could reveal its meaning later. perhaps at the Radiant Chapel in Verdant Frontier Village. As the hum fades, a gentle breeze sweeps across the ridge, carrying the scent of pine and wet earth. The faint lighted trail toward Verdant Frontier Village glows more brightly now, as if inviting you onward. Would you like to 1. Follow the glowing trail to the village, likely your next quest hub? 2. Try another method immediately: Arcana, Detect Magic, or Musical Experiment. 3. Rest and recover, set up a camp for the night. 4. Custom action, your choice, bold or bizarre. That's the spirit. Heroes and chefs know that the secret to mastery is persistence and a pinch of recklessness. Al Dente kneels again beside the pool. Steam curls from the staff of rolling boil as he circles his hand above the cloudy surface. Open quote. If divine flavor won't blend, he mutters, let's stir in a bit of arcane reduction. Close quote. A faint orange glow warms the mist. Heat begins to rise. Barrett whistles the 6-note tune, AetherDmGPT, keeping the rhythm steady while Rogue One taps the tempo on a nearby stone with the flat of his blade. Surrender's voice joins softly, his tones pure and sincere. Cleric Lee's bass hum anchors the harmony. The ridge itself seems to listen. Arcana check, +4 for Al Dente. Go ahead and roll. You're using teamwork and melody, so add advantage. Roll twice, take the higher. DC 12 to 14, the disc reveals its message. 15+, the melody unlocks a hidden effect. 11, the circle reacts unpredictably, harmlessly or otherwise. Which number do the dice serve up this time? Ah, the dice giveth, and then immediately dumpeth soup on our shoes. Al Dente waves his staff, the others humming dutifully in rhythm. For a moment, it looks like the ritual is taking. The water shimmers, the runes flicker, then splush! A column of scalding mist bursts upward, peppering everyone in a fine spray of enchanted condensation. It doesn't harm you, just leaves a faint smell of basil and regret. The stone disc flashes once, projecting a single glowing symbol into the air, a stylized sun divided in half, its rays turning inward. Then it winks out with a mournful little plop. So that's divine fondue confirmed. I'm giving it a 6/10 on presentation. Surrender. It seems the stone would rather keep its secrets until we are ready. Outcome. The rune song remains locked, but now marked by that half-sun sigil, a clue tied to the radiant path. You suspect it can only be properly deciphered with both divine resonance and musical precision, perhaps in a sanctified space. Each of you feels faintly invigorated by the harmonic surge, +1 temporary HP from lingering resonance. The glowing trail toward Verdant Frontier Village pulses again, stronger, insistent. Whatever secrets lie in this song, the next verse awaits there. Do you 1. Follow the light trail to the village, arriving by twilight? 2. Search the ridge one last time for hidden relics or paths? 3. Set up camp and rest under the singing stones for the night? 4. Other action. Your call, Maestro. Barrett looks up from restringing his bow, one eyebrow cocked. Open quote. Wanted? I am a bard, just one who happens to shoot people for rhythm. Close quote. He grins, tucks a feather behind his ear, and starts pacing the perimeter. Scene. The ridge is a tangle of wind-shaped stone and thin singing moss. The wind carries fragments of melody from the standing stones, echoing back on delay, a natural amphitheater. Perfect acoustics, and perhaps perfect for hiding things that react to sound. Barrett glances at the others. Let's see if the mountain likes a solo. He hums the 6-note phrase again, AetherDmGPT, and lets his voice climb to a clear elven falsetto. The tune hangs, shimmering in the mist. Performance or perception? Your choice for Barrett's approach. Performance, try to coax a reaction from the stones through song. Perception, listen for the mountain's reply, something small that only the sharp-eared would catch. Roll 1 and tell me the result. DC 11 to 13, you uncover a hidden feature or passage. 14+, you awaken something ancient and friendly. 10 or less, you'll still make music, just maybe more percussive than intended. Critical charisma achieved. Barrett plants one boot on a stone and lets the ridge become his stage. His voice threads through the mist, that 6-note pattern, now embellished with elven runs and a little flourish at the end that sounds suspiciously like a wink. The other stones begin to hum in harmony. Dust lifts in ripples, pebbles dancing to the beat. The cracked monoliths vibrate until one gives way with a deep boom, revealing a narrow cleft just wide enough for a person to squeeze through. Inside, a faint emerald glow spills across the floor, a hidden alcove. Resting on a low pedestal is a crystal tuning fork, humming with the same frequency as the singing stones. Carved into its handle, the half-sun symbol you saw earlier. You've discovered Resonant Tuning Fork, uncommon, wondrous item. When struck, it emits a pure tone that can calm unstable magical energy, acts as dispel magic once per long rest, aid one performance, religion, or arcana check, plus 1d4 to the roll. Reacts strongly near Radiant Path relics. Barrett's melody still echoes faintly. The stones seem pleased. Everyone gains advantage on their next persuasion or performance check as residual resonance lingers. Rogue One peers into the cleft. Huh, you sang a cave open. Bard enough for me. Surrender smiles proud. Music and heroism, the perfect duet. Do you wish to? 1. Enter the alcove and explore deeper. Looks like a short tunnel beyond the pedestal. 2. Head toward the verdant frontier village while daylight remains. 3. Examine the tuning fork further before deciding. Maybe Al Dente or Lee can identify it fully. 4. Something else entirely? The group circles the pedestal like scholars around a puzzle box, or hungry adventurers eyeing the last sweet roll. The resonant tuning fork sits perfectly balanced, its hum audible even over the wind. The faint half-sun symbol glows along the handle, casting little waves of light across your faces. Al Dente leans closer, holding a hand just above it. The vibration tickles his fingertips. Open quote, the resonance is stable, clean frequency, no distortion. Whoever forged this wasn't channeling power, they were conducting it, close quote. Arcana check. With Int +4, Al Dente rolls a 15 success. He identifies the alloy, Songstone fused with trace silver of Sanctum origin. It's meant to tune ley energy, not destroy it. Cleric Lee presses his holy symbol to the air nearby. A faint harmonic overtone answers. Religion check. Wiz +3, roll 14 success. Open quote, these marks match the canticles of the Radiant Path, specifically the verse of reunion. When this thing sings, the faithful hear each other no matter the distance. It's a beacon and maybe a key. Combined understanding, mechanical effect. The fork can dispel a single unstable magical effect once per long rest, or add +1d4 to a performance, religion, or arcana check involving resonance, harmony, or divine song. Lore. It's a relic of the Radiant Path used to synchronize distant shrines. When activated near a true temple, it will complete the verse, possibly unlocking the sealed melody from the ridge. Attunement requires either a spellcaster or someone of the Radiant Path faith. Surrender's eyes shine. Then it seems destiny has returned one of our lost instruments. Barrett twirls it lightly between his fingers. The hum brightens, perfectly in tune with his heartbeat. Rogue One whistles. Great. Now he's literally gonna play in key. Item acquired, Resonant Tuning Fork, uncommon, attunement optional. The light trail toward verdant frontier village pulses again, as though the fork itself approves. Would you like to? 1. Follow the glowing trail to the village while daylight lasts? 2. Test the fork here. See what happens if Barrett or Surrender activates it? 3. Enter the small tunnel beyond the pedestal to chase that green glow? 4. Something else? The echo of Barrett's boot fades into the quiet hum of the ridge. The Order of Surrender gathers their gear. Hoof-hearted stamps, snorts once at the stones, as if daring them to sing again, and the group begins their descent. The faint leylight trail threads westward through heather and fern, glowing softly enough to guide without blinding. As you travel, it dims with the setting sun, becoming little more than fireflies marking the way. Huh! On the road, Sir Render rides at point, his shield reflecting the last rays. Barrett hums under his breath, keeping the fork's tone in perfect pitch. Al Dente mutters about arcane reduction ratios and occasionally tastes the air like a chef checking seasoning. Cleric Lee keeps the pace steady with the rhythmic chonk-chonk hallelujah of his boots. Rogue One disappears ahead, scouting. Every now and then his voice drifts back. All clear, mostly. As twilight deepens, you crest a rise and see it at last. Verdant Frontier Village, a scatter of warm lights among trees and ruins. A timber palisade surrounds it, and from the central square rises a stone chapel whose bell glows faintly green, the same tone as your fork. Smoke from cook fires drifts on the breeze. Distant laughter mingles with the chirp of night insects. Civilization, fragile but alive. At the gate, 2 guards in mismatched armor straighten. Open quote. Travelers from the ridge, one calls. You'd best get inside. Something's been singing in the woods after dark. Close quote. You've reached Verdant Frontier Village. Before you lies a small crossroads of safety and intrigue. Would you like to 1. Enter the village proper, head for the chapel and investigate the Radiant Bell. 2. Seek the tavern, the Green Ember. Gather rumors, rest, and meet locals. 3. Question the guards about the singing threat. 4. Custom approach. How does the order make its entrance? The order halts just short of the gate, the torchlight catching on Surrender's polished shield and Rogue One's very unpolished grin. The 2 guards glance between one another, clearly uneasy. The older one, gray beard, dented helm, clears his throat. Open quote, we've had noises. Started 3 nights ago after the storm. Singing out in the tree line. Not people, too many voices, too smooth, every night it gets closer. Close quote. He nods toward the chapel tower where the green-lit bell glows faintly. Open quote. The bell hums when it happens. Priest says it's the old wards trying to wake. Folk are frightened, children can't sleep, hunters won't leave the walls. Close quote. The younger guard adds, whispering, open quote. 2 patrols went to trace the sound. 1 came back. They said the forest echoed their own voices back before the light swallowed them. Close quote. What you learn, the singing emanates from the eastern woods, near the ruins of an old Radiant Path shrine, possibly connected to your ridge discovery. The chapel bell reacts to the song. It might be linked through the same ley network as your tuning fork. The villagers are on edge. Strangers bearing radiant symbols will draw attention and perhaps hope. The older guard looks you over again. Open quote. If you're blessed or mad enough to meddle with this, talk to Priestess Malin at the chapel first. She's kept the bell from cracking so far. He pushes open the gate. Welcome to Verdant Frontier. Keep your ears covered after sundown. Close quote. Night is settling. Lanterns flicker inside the walls. The smell of stew and sawdust thicken the air. Do you 1. Head straight to the chapel to meet Priestess Malin and examine the bell? 2. Stop at the Green Ember Tavern for information? The wooden gates creak shut behind you, muffling the wild hum of the forest. Lanterns swing above cobbled lanes as you make your way toward the chapel, its spire lit from within by the same green pulse that has followed you since the ridge. Villagers whisper as you pass. Radiant colors. They came from the ridge. Maybe they can help. The Chapel of the Verdant Bell. The building is half ruin, half renewed. Ivy crawls over restored masonry. Broken stained glass has been patched with thin sheets of quartz. At the center, suspended on iron chains, hangs the Radiant Bell, its surface etched with the half-sun sigil matching your tuning fork. Standing beneath it is Priestess Malin. Middle-aged, soft-spoken, robes mended more than once. Her hands glow faintly as she traces runes along the bell's rim, keeping it steady. When you enter, she turns, relief mixing with exhaustion. Open quote, thank the light, travelers. The wards told me you were coming. You carry something that sings in harmony with this bell. Close quote. Her eyes land on Barrett's tuning fork, and the bell hums in response, two tones merging like greeting voices. Surrender bows, formal. We seek understanding and perhaps to still the voices that haunt your nights. Malin nods slowly. Then you'll want to hear the bell's story, and perhaps help finish its verse. She gestures you closer. Open quote. This chapel was once a listening post of the Radiant Path. The bell linked to other shrines by song. When the great silence fell, the network collapsed. But 3 nights ago, one of the songs returned. Close quote. She touches the bell. The tone deepens, almost mournful. Open quote. Something's trying to reconnect. The sound you hear in the woods, it's not an attack. It's a call. The problem is, we don't know who's answering. Close quote. Opportunities. 1. Use the tuning fork to harmonize with the bell, Arcana or Religion DC 13 to learn where the call originates. 2. Question Malin further about the missing patrols in the old Radiant Path network. 3. Inspect the bell physically, Investigation DC 12, to see if it's damaged or altered. The order fans out beneath the bell's glow, shadows stretching across the stone floor like spokes of a wheel. Cleric Lee grunts and hauls over a ladder, his boots echoing on the flagstones. Rogue One steadies its head mostly, and the dwarf climbs up toward the great bronze surface. The tone deepens slightly, as if recognizing the touch of a fellow craftsman. Investigation. Base +0, proficiency +2, roll equals 16. Success. Lee traces the etched runes with one calloused thumb. Tiny hairline fractures web the inside rim, too deliberate for age or weather. Near each crack, residue glitters faintly green. Open quote. This isn't corrosion, he mutters. Something's been bleeding energy out of the bell, not into it. Close quote. He chips a flake free, it hums once before fading. Al dente leans in. Residual songstone dust, someone's been harvesting from the bell. Malin's face tightens. We've had peddlers and scholars passing through these last weeks. I never imagined. Rogue One crouches by the base and finds faint boot prints in the candle soot, small, sharp-heeled, leading toward the side door that opens onto the woods. What you uncover, the bell is intact, but weakened, ritually drained of power. The harvested songstone dust can amplify resonance. Whoever took it could be using it to twist the forest's harmony. The trail from the chapel leads east, the same direction as the singing in the woods. Surrender frowns. If they're meddling with the voice of the land, we must answer. Barrett twirls the tuning fork. Guess we'll be playing the forest encore after all. Malin places a hand on Render's arm. If you go, take this, what remains of the bell's blessing. She whispers a prayer. Soft light settles over you all. Open quote. Blessing of the bell. +1 to your next saving throw, and resistance to thunder damage until dawn. Close quote. The eastern door stands ajar, beyond it the dark fringe of the forest, every leaf trembling faintly to a rhythm just beyond hearing. Do you, 1, follow the footprints into the forest to hunt the thief and source of the singing? 2, stay and question Malin about the Radiant Path's fall and possible allies first? 3, split the party, scouts follow the trail while others gather supplies and information. 4, custom action. How does the order answer the bell's summons? Rogue One Kenobi, stealth check with advantage. 12 total. Just barely enough. The forest notices something, but not you. Through the singing woods, Rogue One glides forward, each step careful and deliberate. The rest of the party follows in his wake, mimicking his movements as best they can. Branches sway above, their leaves pulsing faintly in time with the hum. The forest itself seems to breathe to the rhythm. Through the trees ahead, Pale green light flickers like candle fire behind gauze. You crouch behind a fallen log, and the scene unfolds. A small clearing ringed by standing stones, half sunk into moss. At its center, a lone figure in a hooded cloak kneels before a shallow basin filled with water that ripples in time with the hum. The glow you saw from the chapel bell and ridgestone now pours from shards embedded in the basin's rim, the stolen songstone dust. The hooded figure sings in a whispering harmony with the forest, not words but tones, weaving perfect choice. This is exactly what the little guy was born for. Let's calculate. Rogue 1 Kenobi, Lightfoot Plit Halfling Rogue, level 1, Dexterity 18 plus 4 Mias, Proficiency Stealth plus 2. Halfling racial advantage, none needed here. You already have advantage from leading Thek. Total modifier, plus 6. You rolled 12, taking the higher of the 2 advantage dice, to 18. Result, success. The forest swallows you whole. Rogue 1 moves like moonlight between branches, guiding the group by faint gestures. A raised hand here, a flicked ear there. The hum thickens, resolving into voices. You peer through a curtain of ivy into a clearing illuminated by strange green fireflies. At its center stands a circle of robed figures, their faces hidden behind porcelain masks split with half-sun symbols. They sway in perfect rhythm, singing the 6-note phrase. In the center of their ring lies a stone altar, cracked and glowing with the same residue taken from the bell. Above it floats a sphere of sound and light, a captive chord, trembling like a living thing. One masked figure raises a staff tipped with songstone shards. Open quote. The voice is almost ready. A whisper echoes through the clearing. When it sings freely, the silence will end. Close quote. Barrett leans close to surrender. That doesn't sound like good news. Or like a rehearsal we want to sit through. You are unseen. They have no idea you're there. You count 6 cultists and 1 central figure conducting, likely the leader. Your options: 1. Observe longer. Learn more about the ritual or their goal, stealth or arcana. 2. Ambush. Strike before they complete the chant, surprise round. 3. Interrupt with authority. Surrender could step out and invoke the radiant path to command them to stop. 4. Custom approach, deception, distraction, or creative plan, music duel, countersong, illusion, etc. What's the order's move? The order sinks deeper into the undergrowth, hearts beating in sync with the eerie rhythm. Rogue 1 signals silence with 2 fingers. Even Hoof-Hearted's snort fades to nothing as the melody swells through the clearing. Observation phase, Barrett strains to catch words between the notes. The phrases are fragmented, part prayer, part spell. Open quote, by voice and void, return what was taken, bridge the silence. Close quote. Al dente narrows his eyes. They're using harmonic resonance as a ritual matrix, he whispers. That sphere, it's pure sound energy. If it ruptures, the shockwave could rewrite the local ley pattern. Cleric Lee adds quietly, they're summoning the lost song, the same one that ties the shrines. But the pattern's off. They're pulling power through the forest instead of from the heavens. The robed leader steps closer to the floating sphere. Their voice cuts through the chant, calm, commanding. Open quote, the bell in the village rings false. Once we attune this echo, the true choir will rise again. Close quote. They raise the staff. The sphere trembles violently, drawing in motes of green light from every direction, including, you realize, from the tuning fork at Barrett's belt. It's vibrating faintly in response. Surrender murmurs. If they finish, the whole network may turn against the radiant path. You now know, the cult seeks to reverse the radiant connection, turning the network into a channel for something they call the silence. The resonance link could be cut by disrupting the conductor or cleansed by harmonizing the fork with the floating sphere. They're within a few verses of completion. Moments remain. The forest hums louder. Time's running thin. What's your call? Order of surrender. 1. Ambush the cultists now. Take the conductor first. 2. Countersing with the tuning fork. Try to overwrite their ritual peacefully. 3. Target the sphere. Destroy it before it destabilizes the ley line. 4. Custom action. A cunning or magical plan of your own. The final chord trembles. too close to release. Surrender's eyes blaze with conviction, open quote. Faith without action is merely applause. Order, on my mark. Close quote. Rogue One slips behind a tree, dagger gleaming like a whispered secret. Barrett draws string theory, the bowstring vibrating to the forest's heartbeat. Al Dente's staff begins to steam. Cleric Lee murmurs a blessing under his breath. Divine light flickers in his beard like sunrise trapped in amber. Ambush! Because of your perfect stealth earlier, 18, you catch the cult unawares. You all act in a surprise round. Here's what you see. 1 conductor, leader with the staff, 5 choir adepts maintaining the chanted sud. They stand in a loose circle around the glowing sphere. The conductor's back is turned, raising the staff for the final verse. Before we roll for initiative, you each get 1 free action, either an attack or a setup move. Options, examples, surrender, charge and smite the conductor, or shield bash to knock them off balance. Barrett, fire an opening arrow or use the tuning fork for a sonic disruption. Al Dente, cast grease, scorching ray, or another spell to sow chaos. Cleric Lee, call bless, guiding bolt, or channel divine light to mark a target. Rogue One, sneak attack one of the adepts, or attempt to steal the staff mid-chant. Who strikes first, and what's everyone doing in this surprise round? The clearing holds its breath, 1 heartbeat, then all harmony breaks. Surrender with a roar that could shame thunder. Render spurs hoof-hearted forward. His shield glows like a rising sun as he slams into the line of chanting adepts. Attack roll, STR +5, roll 14, 19, hit. Effect. 2 cultists are bowled over, chant shattered, the circle flickers, light stuttering, their voices cut out with a gasp, the resonance weakens by a third. Open quote, silence that, villains. Render bellows, shield gleaming as his holy symbol flares. Close quote. Baritone. The ranger plants his feet, drawing string theory until it hums the same cursed pitch as the forest itself. He exhales on the release. Attack roll, dex +5, roll 11, 16, hit. Damage, 1d8 +3 equals 8 piercing. The arrow streaks through the glow, clipping the conductor's shoulder. The impact throws their pitch off. Blood sprays, a discordant shriek ripples through the clearing. The sphere wobbles dangerously. Al Dente eyes bright, he levels the staff of rolling boil. Open quote, flambe finale coming right up. Close quote. Firebolt attack, int +6, roll 12, 18, hit. Damage, 1d10 equals 9 fire. The bolt hits dead center, wreathing the conductor in orange flame. The scent of singed robes fills the air. The staff they hold vibrates madly, songstone shards shattering like glass notes. Rogue One Kenobi. While light and chaos erupt, a smaller shape streaks from the shadows, quiet as guilt. The halfling's blade hums an F shop as he drives it home. Attack roll, Dex +6, roll 17, 23, sneak attack hit. Damage, 1d6 plus 1d6 plus 4 equals 11 total. The blade pierces between the conductor's ribs, the figure stiffens, the song dying on their lips. The sphere's glow flares white, then fractures into motes of light that scatter like startled birds. Result: 3 adepts are stunned or down, the rest shriek in confusion. The conductor collapses to one knee, clutching their side, the shattered staff humming pitifully. The floating sphere dissolves, residual energy rushing back into the ground, quieting the forest's hum. The ley line stabilizes, for now. But as the light fades, a final tone lingers, a whispered chord escaping the conductor's lips. Open quote, "The silence hears you." Close quote. The forest falls utterly still. Combat pause. The remaining adepts drop their masks and flee into the trees. The conductor lies wounded, the half-sun mask cracked in two, revealing a gaunt elf with songstone dust in their veins. What do you do? 1. Interrogate the conductor before they fade. 2. Heal and stabilize them for questioning later. 3. End the threat. Destroy the staff and ensure the ritual can't restart. 4. Custom action. How does your order handle victory and the echoes of the silence? Perfect! The clash stills, and the forest becomes your stage once more. Surrender plants thunder in the earth, steam rising from the rain-soaked soil. The shield comes up, the polished surface reflecting flickering firelight from Al Dente's spell. He steps forward through the dispersing mist and raises his voice. It rings like a temple bell, clear and absolute. Open quote. "Enough! The light does not sing for tyrants." Close quote. His tone is no mere shout. It's command, conviction, and sermon all in one. Even the wind hesitates. Intimidation. CHA +2, advantage from divine presence and battlefield victory. Rolls 13 and 17. Take 17 + 2 = 19. The remaining adepts, already staggering from the backlash of broken magic, drop their masks and fall to their knees. Hands trembling, one of them blurts, open quote, "We didn't know, it wasn't meant to wake that. The conductor said it would heal the silence. Bring the radiant song back." Close quote. Another throws their porcelain mask into the dirt, sobbing. Barrett lowers his bow slightly. Cleric Lee mutters, "Fear'll cool their heads faster than my mace ever could." Rogue One sheaths his blade, stepping on the last fallen mask with a deliberate crunch. The conductor, pale and bleeding, looks up at Render with a pained half-smile. Open quote. "You stopped the voice this time, Paladin. But you still don't understand who silenced it to begin with." Close quote. They slump unconscious as the ley light fades from their eyes. The forest exhales. The singing woods fall quiet. Finally, true silence, not the devouring kind. Above, the moon climbs higher, silver on wet leaves. State update. Combat ended. 4 adepts subdued, 1 conductor unconscious. Ritual site secured, broken staff and resonance fragments can be studied. Party intact and blessed. How do you wish to proceed? Order of surrender. 1. Secure prisoners and bring them to Verdant Frontier for questioning. 2. Examine the broken staff and the sphere remnants, Arcana Religion. 3. Tend to the wounded, show mercy, and learn what you can. 4. Custom action. Decide how your order's code handles victory in the wild. The tension seeps from the trees, leaving the scent of rain and burned ozone. The fallen staff lies among the roots, still twitching with half-dead light. Inspection Al Dente crouches first, tapping the shards with the end of his staff of rolling boil. Open quote. Residual charge, volatile but not active. Think souffle, collapsed, not cooked. Close quote. Cleric Lee joins him, tracing the split sigil along the shaft. Open quote. These runes match the bell's blessing, only inverted. They pulled light down instead of letting it rise. Close quote. Arcana, al dente plus 4, 15 religion, Li plus 3, 14, both succeed. The staff was once a radiant conductor's rod used by path priests to link shrines in harmony. Someone reversed its runes, turning it into a siphon that drains radiant energy and stores it as corrupted songstone dust. The residue you found on the chapel bell came from this staff. If repaired and purified, perhaps in the chapel's consecrated pool, it could be used to amplify your tuning fork or restore the network properly. But left broken, the shards will keep leaking faint resonance.